What's up, guys? It's Venus here, back with another story time, and today's story time is about the time I got caught stealing Twisted Teas from Walmart on Halloween. Alright, so this story time took place when I was in 8th grade, and when I was in 8th grade, I was really bad. Like, I was skipping school at least twice a week. Most of the time, I would only be at school for a full day once to twice a week, and it's not like I was like allowed to skip school or anything. I would just go for a period or two and then leave the school. And I'm gonna explain the layout of the school so I can explain to you how I would sneak out of the school. And this story time gets really eventful. Like, listen to the end, because it's not just about me stealing Twisted Teas. Like, it gets crazy in this story time. I was thinking about breaking it up into two, but I decided I'm gonna just do it in one. So when you first walk into the school, there's like this blacktop, and that's where the 6th and 7th graders are. And from there, there's this hill that leads up to the 8th grade classrooms. And up there, there's this ramp that leads to the field where like we do PE and everything, you know? So the way I would do it, I would go and sit in the bathroom after like second period. I would just go and sit in the bathroom because that would be break time. So I would sit in the bathroom, probably wait about like 5 minutes, make sure like there's no teachers out there or nothing, you know, like give it a good amount of time. And then I would walk out, go over to the ramp that leads up to the field, because the field is kind of up high from the hill. Like, it's a weird layout. You'd have to know or see it to know what I mean. But so I would walk up this ramp. It like goes back and forth a bunch. And then once I would get to about the middle of the ramp, I would look around, make sure nobody could see me or anything. And I would jump over the railing from the ramp. And there's this one fence that goes around the field that they just put up not too long ago. And but before that, they didn't take down the old fence that was around it. And the old fence has a giant hole in it. That's the reason they put the new fence up. And so I would just go out from that ramp, and there would still be the old fence back there, and I would just run past the field, and because nobody could really see you anyway, because the new fence they put up is real tight chain link. So I would run past that, go through the big hole in the other fence, start running down the hill, and then once I was down the hill, I knew I was cool. Like, no teachers could see me or nothing. It's not like they're gonna come chasing me. So then I would start walking towards the Walmart, because it's like right next to the school. Basically, so it's like this: the middle school that I was in, a community college directly next to it, and then on the other side of that community college is Walmart. So Walmart was right there. And so that's how I'd get out of the school. I'd go to this area that was like all flat and like dry and everything, because like it was like a bunch of trees and everything back there before, but they all got burnt down. So now it's just open area, and I can walk back there. So I walk back there behind the middle school, get to the community college, sorry. So I get to the community college, and there's another hole in the fence around the community college, and then I would go through that hole to the community college, run through the community college, that way like no teachers would see me and like try and say something to the school or anything like that, you know. And I went into the Walmart. I went to the chip aisle, you know, threw a bag of chips in my backpack, and just like kept walking back and forth right there, because there was like candy and everything right in front of the alcohol aisle. So I was just walking back and forth right there, waiting for like the aisle to be empty, you know. And as soon as the aisle was empty, I walked down the aisle, opened my backpack up, threw it in the front, threw a case of Twisted Teas in there, a 12-pack, zipped my backpack up, walked out of the store. The second I got out of the store, I heard one of the workers yell something. They were like, "Hey!" So then as soon as they yelled, I just took off running. And then he was like chasing me for a second, but he was super fat. Like, there's no way this guy would have caught me, you know what I mean? Like, I was gone. And I was in the back of the store, and I was looking around, and there was no workers or anything. So I was like, all right, let me call my cousin Jaden real quick, and then I'm gonna call him, tell him to come pick me up, and we're gonna go back to his house and drink some Twisted Teas for Halloween, you know what I mean? Hang out, have a good night, because we were already planning on throwing a Halloween party this night, and I'm gonna get to that later. That Halloween party gets real eventful. And so I was calling my cousin Jaden to come pick me up, because he just turned 16, probably about a month earlier than that, and he had a Chrysler 300, so he was gonna come pick me up. We were gonna go back to his house with Twisted Teas, chill out, wait till later. But while I was back behind the Walmart, I was like watching for a second, no workers. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I didn't think they were just gonna go instantly check the cameras, you know. But then So I call my cousin, tell him like, yo, I got the Twisted Teas. I'm behind Walmart right now. I'm gonna walk up to the road past the middle school. Meet me there. And as I was on the phone with him, I did not hear this, but I guess this worker came out of one of the back doors and he snuck up behind me, and I felt him grab my backpack while I was on the phone. So I just like put my arms behind me real quick and like jumped forward and came out of the backpack. And then he was like said some shit like, got you, motherfucker, like, and started saying a whole bunch of shit, you know. And he went back over to the store, and like I was cussing at him for a minute, and I didn't even think about this until a little while later when I was walking away. So in my backpack, I used to never have anything, especially when I was doing stuff like this. I made sure I didn't have anything in my backpack to make sure like a store worker, if I got caught or anything, couldn't like check my stuff and like see my name and try and call the schools or anything, you know. But today, my teacher gave me a binder because he realized I didn't have anything in my backpack because I was already planning on doing this, so I left everything at home. Sorry, I had to burp. And then, so he gave me a binder and he wrote my name on it before he gave it to me. And I didn't think about that when I went to grab the Twisted Teas. So I had that in my backpack with the Twisted Teas. And once he got my backpack, he had my name. So he went in the building and called the school. And then the school's like, oh yeah, that's this kid. We're gonna call his dad and the cops. So they called my dad and they called the cops. And I was walking, and like I didn't realize this until I was getting to this road in this like neighborhood that I lived in with my uncle. I was walking that way, like my cousin was gonna come pick me up probably in like 10-15 minutes. I was just gonna go back to my uncle's house and like grab some stuff because I knew nobody was home. So I was gonna like go grab my stuff, grab some weed and everything, you know, because I had like 3 or 4 ounces of weed at the time. And so I was going back to his house to grab my stuff, grab some weed and everything. And on my way there, I get a call from my dad. And I was thinking, how could he know? How could he know? And I thought, that fucking binder. So I picked up the phone and I was like, yeah, what's up, Dad? And he was like, motherfucker, where are you? The cops are here looking for you. We know that you tried to steal Twisted Teas from Walmart. Fucking stupid. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I told him I was over by this Tractor Supply, because that's literally like right across the street from the Walmart. I told him I was walking towards that way, the whole opposite direction of where I was going. So he started going that way with the cops looking for me, you know. And I had just started running full speed. I got back to my uncle's house real fast, ran in there, grabbed my bong, put it in my backpack, grabbed all my weed, put it in there, and grabbed like 2 outfits because I knew I was going to be there for a day or 2 after this at my cousin's. So then I left there. I started walking back. I started walking towards my cousin's house. It's like a 15-20 minute walk, probably like a 5-minute drive. And I called him and I was like, yo, come get me right fucking now. My dad's looking for me. My name was in the backpack. They called the school. They called my dad, the cops, everybody looking for me. And he was like, okay, I can head over in like 15 minutes. And I was like, fuck, all right. So I was walking on these back roads, you know, and since we were having a Halloween party this night, I really I really wanted to show up with alcohol, because like my cousin, that's a girl, fuck, let me think of a name for her. Samantha. Okay, so Samantha had a whole, like, all of her friends were bad bitches, okay? She was friends with all the baddies, so I was like, oh, fuck. She's having all her friends come over for this Halloween party, like, I need to get some alcohol because everybody's going to want to drink. So I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? And I was thinking, yo, there's this gas station right down the road from me. So I went to this gas station, and it's always this big-ass, fat, old person that works there. So I knew if I went and stole something and ran out, they weren't going to be able to catch me, you know? And this store had bottles in there. Like, they had a bunch of bottles of vodka. They were in the front, but I didn't really care because he would have to get around the counter and get to me, and I would have been out of the store by then. So I just walked in, acted like I was looking at these beef sticks that were right next to it, and then I just grabbed 2 bottles. They were Amsterdam, like peach and like grapefruit, I'm pretty sure. And I just took off running out the door, and like he didn't even try chasing me because like what's the point? He knew he wasn't gonna catch me. He don't care that much. So he didn't even try chasing me, and I was running at this point, and I called my cousin. I was like, bro, I just stole 2 bottles from this gas station, and I already have my dad and the cops looking for me. Like, you need to come get me right now. So he was like, all right, I'm on my way. So he came, picked me up. He was with his dad, so my uncle, my other uncle that I was living with, and we went to the store because I had like $30 and a bunch of weed, so I wanted to get some grabba. That way we could have blunts at the party. So we went to this gas station. We got a couple packs of grabba and went back to my cousin's house. And we just wanted to get ready for the party, have everything ready. So we went in the house, cleaned up, make sure everything was looking nice, because there was going to be a bunch of bitches over there. So we didn't want the house to look like shit, And so we went in his room. We rolled up hella weed. We probably rolled up like 2 ounces worth of blunts, fat ass blunts. Rolled that shit up. And so we were just waiting for everybody to come over at that point, waiting for all the girls to come over. And they finally got there. Everything was good, we were all in the house, smoking, drinking, all that, because, my uncle, he didn't care. We were allowed to smoke and drink in the house. He didn't really care about that stuff. So we were in there, it was me, my cousin Jaden, and I'm not going to say his real name, my homie Casper, that's his nickname, that's what people call him. So, me, Jaden, and Casper, and then, 7 or 8 girls. There's one girl, Drina, that was my cousin's girlfriend. Fuck, what's a fake name I should use for my girl? Let me think. I'm going to say Ashlyn. Okay, so, my girlfriend, Ashlyn, we were all hanging out. Casper didn't have a girl, so he was just talking to any girl I would talk to him, honestly. He didn't care. And so me, my girl, and my cousin's girl, we were all sitting around smoking blunts, we had, they had a blunt, we had a blunt, we were all chilling, taking shots and stuff, chilling out. And then my cousin was like, yo, let's go hotbox the car. So we went out there. Me and my girl were sitting in the back, and my cousin and his girl were sitting up in the front. And, my bad, voice is, shit in my throat. Pause. But so we were sitting out there hanging out, and we were smoking a blunt, and my girl looked at me. She was like, I'm bored. And I said, what do you want to do? And she said, shit, whatever you want to do. So I put my hand on her leg and looked at her, and she smiled at me, and I was like, oh, bet. So then I told my cousin to hop out the car real quick. So we hopped out, and they stayed in the car, my cousin were out there, and I was like, yo, bro, let me take the keys to your car and just drive around the neighborhood with her real quick, and just I'm trying to hit, let me go drive around with her. And he was like, all right, bet, don't crash my shit though, I know you've been drinking. Don't ever drink and drive, guys. I was stupid as fuck, okay? I was only 14 and I was doing this stupid shit. I was driving underage and drunk driving. Don't ever do this. But so he gave me the keys, and I ran back in the house and grabbed 2 more blunts. And when I went out there, my cousin and his girl were already out of the car. So I was like, oh, bet. And I told her to hop in the front, and then sparked a blunt and drove off. We were driving around the neighborhood, chilling. Probably a mile or so down the road, there was this big-ass empty parking lot to this old abandoned hospital. I don't know why they shut that shit down, but they did for some reason. And right before we were getting to the hospital where you'd pull in, she told me to pull over, and I was like, why? What did we pull over for? And she literally just said, I want to suck your dick. And I was like, oh, bet, it's going down, because I ain't saying no to that. You got me fucked up, think I'm saying no. So I pulled over, and we were chilling there in the parking lot, and after sitting there for a minute, we finished smoking that blunt, and instantly, bro, she unzipped my shit and started doing her thing, I ain't gonna go into detail or nothing, but bro, I've had head 3 times up to that point, because in my little small town, you guys probably aren't gonna believe this, honestly, and I honestly don't care, but in my little small town, all there was to do, drugs, drink, and have sex. That's all everybody does in my small town, And me and this girl have only been, together for, a week at that point. We hadn't even done nothing, and it wasn't even I would say she's my girl. We were more just talking at that point. She became my girl a while after this, but she told me to pull over in this parking lot, and she gave me head in the parking lot. I'd had head 3 times at that point, and damn, that shit, hers was so much better than any other bitch I've been with. And then after that, I was like, shit, hop in the back. I told her to hop in the back. She was like, all right, bet. Because she's thick as fuck, and I ain't been able to hit that yet, so I got the chance. I'm taking it, because she's fucking thick. So we hopped in the back, did our little thing in the back and shit. And then we hopped back up front, lit up another blunt, started heading back to the house. And when we got back to the house, then we all just kept drinking, smoking. We probably smoked 8-9 months that night, just me and her. I mean, we were smoking so much. And then all those blunts we rolled, There was like 5 left the next morning, which I was kind of pissed about. I only had like an ounce left after that, but I mean, it's a party, so what? And we finished both bottles that night too. Like, whenever we would get bottles, like me, my cousin, and our girls, just us, could finish 2 bottles in a night. So with all these people, you know, that shit went hella quick. I should have grabbed more. But yeah, so we all went back to the house, chilled, got fucked up, you know. And let me say, don't ever drink and drive. Don't ever steal. Don't do what I do. I was dumb as fuck. I don't really do stuff like that anymore. I mean, only because they shut that store down that we would go to. But yeah, so like and subscribe if you guys like the video. Leave a comment, you know. Check out my other story times. Probably gonna make another one tomorrow, and I hope you guys enjoyed.